Welcome, 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 everybody, to today's episode 2 of the Inner Wisdom Webcast. Today's focus is Dare to Dream. It is a perfect energy and frequency that we're dialing into right now. We have the full moon eclipse in Taurus. And the reason I love that this energy got mixed in with today's webcast is because that frequency that we're moving into, and by the way, it's not just this Saturday, this is the energy that's really going to be at the forefront for you over the next 6 months. And it's all about moving into those deep, deep desires and passions and materializing them into the physical realm. So that's the opposition between Scorpio and Taurus. So that's the energy and frequency that we've been playing with. So who here, just for fun, has been feeling this deep calling to reevaluate the direction that they're moving forward into? And just so you know, that Scorpio energy, I know I'm one of them. It doesn't surprise me that doing transformational inner work is what I do for a living, because that Scorpio energy invites you and in a lot of ways encourages you with some beautiful lessons in your life to become highly aware of all the patterns and lessons that you might be trying to ignore. So who here has been having some stuff show up that you're like, oh, I wish I could just ignore this stuff because I don't feel like dealing with it. However, that's the beauty of this frequency right now, is in order for you to achieve that big, beautiful goal that you have in your heart, here's the stuff you got to look at. And so we can use that as an opportunity, or we can see it as a burden. So I'll invite you to leverage your story and give yourself permission to explore your inner world. I want you to know, from someone who's been doing this for like over 10 years, I've worked with thousands of clients. I've seen tens of thousands of healings. I've taught almost 300 students now just in doing that inner work. I want you to know that the perception that you have that dealing with this issue is going to be this long, drawn out, challenging experience, that does not need to be the case. And some of you guys are in the room that I've worked with and we've spent time together. And just for fun, because so they don't just have to hear it with me, I want you to share, if you will, in the comments, when you did your inner work, because some of you guys have worked with maybe with other people, was it as hard as you thought it was going to be when you finally had the courage to do the thing and go in your inner world and let go of those patterns and programs? So you can see all of the nodding faces. Not as hard as we make it up to be. What happens is we perceive our fears and our obstacles to be so much bigger than they truly are. And when we go and we do our inner work, what we realize is what actually needs to be addressed more often than not is much simpler than we make it up to be. Now, what's on the other side of doing that inner work is all the awesome your heart is desiring. And what I often encourage people to do is, if your dream isn't big enough to motivate you to do your inner work, well, then you're probably suppressing your dreams. You're probably playing small. And that's because your passion and your desires and your dreams should motivate you to do the hard thing, to look inside, to do the inner work, to say yes to that experience or say no to that old unhelpful pattern, that those old relationships that need to be addressed, those old boundary issues that are showing up and making themselves known. One of the other energies that's really showing up in the celestial frequencies right now is our relationships. So anywheres where there's an imbalance between you and someone else, and one that's coming up especially is imbalance with money. Who here feels disempowered when it comes to money? Just for fun, right? Who here is like, money's my lover, right? Money's my best friend, right? And what is money? It's just paper with ink on it. So what we've done energetically is we've given a piece of paper our power. The reality is that your abundance is not dependent on the economy. It's not dependent on government policy. It's not dependent on the current interest rate. It's dependent on your frequency to attract abundance into your life. And as an financial analyst and someone who used to work on the stock market for almost 20 years, in every market, there's somebody making money. And that can be you. We want you to align with those places where there's all these extra dollar bills that have been printed that are just waiting for you to acquire them. All right. So, I love that you shared that. So someone shared, gathering courage is the hardest part. That's why I want to encourage you, make your dream bigger. If your dream should be so exciting that courage comes easily. Make it bigger, make it more awesome, give yourself permission to have such a big dream that it makes you sad to not be living for it. Make sense? Okay. Thanks for bringing that in, because that's actually a very, very common thing. So let me just go over today's agenda. So my goal to support you today is to help you gain clarity on your goals, to support you in recognizing some easy mile markers to keep you on track, because that's where we get stuck. We're like, oh, I know what I need to do. And then we move forward and then we get off track. And they're like, oh, shoot, what was I supposed to do again? So I want to support you in staying on track, which is the point, right? Also, I'm going to help you to understand the role that the subconscious plays in either supporting or sabotaging your dreams, so that you can become aware of what's going on in your inner world that's creating an obstacle in your external one. Also, in this session, we're going to do a very powerful and very yummy, delicious healing meditation so that you can receive healing downloads, activations, release some old fears, traumas, stories, and that crap that you don't want in your frequency and your mind any longer, because it's just holding you back from being your awesome self. So when we get to that, I'll share that with a little bit with you. For those of you who are new to me, one of the modalities that I love to use to create quick and easy shifts on the subconscious level is theta healing. Because you are a free agent and you have free will, I'm going to propose them. I'm going to say, hey, do you want to have this? And that's going to be your invitation to say, yes, I would love that. So you're going to say yes out loud when you hear something that sounds good to you. That's you letting your subconscious know, I'm in it to win it, baby. And then the final thing that I'll be sharing with you today is the action piece. So how do we stay in inspired action in moving forward in our goals? So who here has, it's like, they feel like they're driving a standard car for the first time and it's like, and you're like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then it's like, and then you stall and then you're, yay, I'm going to do it. And you stall. And then this is your experience trying to get your goal. You're like nauseous from it. Sound familiar? Okay. So there's a lot of the subconscious stuff that's coming into that. So I want to support you in having a smooth ride as possible to your goal. Because reality is, life's got some bumps and curves in it anyway. We don't need any help from the subconscious to make it bumpier. All right. So it's as smooth and effortless and as joyful as possible. We can grow into our dreams. Sound good so far? Is everybody at the right place? That's what we got on the menu for today. So my hope for you is that you're going to leave feeling a higher level of clarity about what you want and how to get there. I want you to feel empowered in achieving your goals. I'm going to support you, and my goal is to help you feel and have an understanding of how to enhance your decision making. Because the reality is, you make like 70,000 little decisions every day. And the decisions that you made yesterday led you here. And the decisions you made last year led you to this moment. And the decisions that you start making from this moment forward will create your tomorrow. So when we are more aware and conscious of those decisions that we're making, and I'm not proposing that you start picking through the 70,000 small decisions you make all day. That's technically impossible for you to do. But when we become more conscious and more self-aware, we become more empowered to be mindful of those small decisions that we're making that are creating the crap in our lives that we don't want. And then we get way more aware of the choices that we can make that support us in moving forward in experiencing the opportunities that are available to us. So far, so good. So we're going to do all of that. And my goal too is that you feel supported. It's like one of my, so that's my dream for today. That's the intention that I'm setting into the space. Who's ready to rock and roll and live their biggest dreams? Wonderful. Love it. Okay, perfect. All right, so just for fun, I want to do survey says. So, oh, thanks for all the claps and the hearts and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for all your love. I lovingly receive it. So for fun, and I won't call anybody out by name, but if you were to guess, what do you think is your number one obstacle in achieving your goal? And maybe that's, well, I'm not really sure what my goal is. That might be it. So just for fun, close your eyes for a minute and just share with me, what do you think is the number one reason you don't have the thing that you want in your life? I'll give you all a second to feel into that. This is going to support us through our experience. And also, when you write it out, there's method to my madness. It actually helps you to bring more awareness to it when you type it out. And so there's no wrong answers here. Mm-hmm. Good. So let me share with you, and you'll probably see yourself in this. The top most common blocks that we work on when I work with people, and whether I'm teaching or I'm working with clients privately, here's why. You're afraid of failure. You're afraid of success. Believe it or not, we are afraid of success, because when we succeed, let me explain that, because that actually happens a lot more than we realize. When you succeed in your goal, that means your old life that you're used to, the comfortable, familiar life that you're currently living, it goes away, and your subconscious freaks out, because it's like, hey, where's my familiar suffering? And when you're succeeding, it's like, well, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. What if I lose the success? Right? So it's twofold. It's a double-edged sword. So fear of failure, fear of success, fear of loss, fear of rejection is a big one that comes up. What if I'm really successful and so, is jealous or envious, or I'll feel guilty because I'll have and they won't, right? So that story will show up for a lot of people. One of the other reasons that we are held back is we'll have a lack of clarity on what our goals are. We will sometimes have a lot of external influence as to what we actually want. You're like, well, they look happy over there. Maybe that's what I should get for myself. Maybe that's what my goal should be. Maybe I should be a millionaire with a yacht and and that maybe that doesn't resonate with you. So sometimes we're keeping up with the Joneses, and we get distracted on what we authentically want and desire, what our signature desires are. And because someone out there looks happy, we make the assumption that, well, they look happy, I'll be happy when I have that too. I know I played that game for many, many years. I had a resume I checked all the boxes. I had the good job and the nice place and the nice car. And I thought, well, I should be happy. All I'm missing is this, this, and this. And when my life looked great on paper, but I felt empty, then I felt guilty, because I felt like, how ungrateful am I that I'm not happy and I have all of these beautiful things. But what I want you to know is that you can have all of the beautiful things in the world and still feel empty, because sometimes those things that you've created are the things that you think will make you happy, that will bring you purpose, meaning, and joy in your life, but they're not necessarily the things that will allow you to thrive and live in joy. some of the other things that often show up, and I'm going to simplify this as much as possible, is number one block, fear. Every flavor of fear. We've got the 31 Basket Robbins of fear when it comes to I'm afraid of. And fear will show up in a lack of self-trust, in a lack of self-confidence, in a lack of perceived capacity. So confidence, if you have a lack in confidence, that's a form of fear, because you're afraid you're not capable. You're afraid that you don't have what it takes. Here's what I want you to know about your dreams and your desires. They would not be seated in your heart if they were not meant for you and you weren't capable of achieving them. Your soul is not a jerk. It's not like, hey, let's tell Anik she can do this and then totally blow up her life. Like, that's not how your soul works. So these deep-seated desires, they're nudges and callings from your soul, who is desiring an expansive experience on this planet, calling you forward and being like, hey, do you want to do this? I got this lined up for you. You want to come and play? Does that make sense? So if it's seated in your heart, the only thing between you and that experience is who? Is who? So you, ultimately. However, more specifically, is your subconscious patterns, your subconscious beliefs, your subconscious energy. So now you've probably heard a lot of talk of limiting beliefs and limiting beliefs and limiting beliefs and working with the subconscious mind. I want to expand the definition on that, because I find that sometimes there's a certain perception that happens that it has only to do with your thoughts. Your subconscious mind regulates, controls, generates, and manages 95% of your thoughts. Yes. 95% of your emotions, 95% of your physical actions, 95% of your behaviors, your habits, your choices, your actions, your reactions, your responses, and also manages the frequency and the vibe and the electromagnetic field that is your point of attraction for everything that you're both attracting into your life and repelling from it. So when we talk about working on the subconscious mind, we're not just talking about your beliefs and that inner critic that's like, oh, you're a loser, right? We're talking well beyond that. So far, so good? Good. So how do you feel about nipping that little inner critic in the butt and allowing your inner cheerleader to lead the way to your goals? Yeah? In it to win it, baby? Yes. Love it. Woohoo! Okay, who's ready for some fun? Everybody? Nobody? Okay, good. It's important for us to get excited about our goals, because if I'm not excited about what I've got on my list, do you think I'm going to achieve it? Am I going to want to get out of bed in the morning when it's a rainy, dreary day like today in New Brunswick? If I'm not excited about my life, do you think I'm going to go and do the thing? Am I going to let a fear derail me? Yeah, because I'm not that excited about it. So motivation comes from being connected to desires. So the first thing that we're going to do today, of course, with your permission. So maybe I'll give you some preface for some of you guys that are new to the Anik town. Is anybody new to me and my work? Just out of curiosity, give me a thumbs up, or everybody's been around the block with Anik. Perfect. Well, for those of you who might be on the replay that it's your first kick at the can, what I do is support you with healing on the quantum level. So what that means is, with your permission, because you're a free agent, I'm going to channel and offer and activate energy within your field and act as an observer and a witness for your self-healing. Because all healing, all growth, all expansion happens, it's an inside job. I'm simply going to act as the conduit, if you will, to that experience for you. And it'll happen as much or as little as you choose for it to happen. So some of you will have like the most earth-shattering, sock blowing off experience ever. And some of you will be like, oh, I feel lighter and better. And each and every experience is perfect for where you are in your journey. So I want you to know that you're going to integrate this healing to your deepest capacity now. And you're all going to get the replay. So when you listen to it again, you'll go deeper with it. So I invite you to do that. All right. Who's ready? Who is ready? Okay. So let's take a nice long deep breath. And now for fun, I want you to think about that big obstacle that you shared with me earlier that was holding you back from achieving your goals. I want you to breathe in and I want you to let it go. Are you done with that? Are you done with the lack of confidence and the lack of trust and the lack of capacity and the fear and the unworthiness and the rejection and all that junk? Okay, take another nice long deep breath. Let it all go. Because who's the only person hanging on to that? It's only you, right? If I've got rejection or fear of rejection or fear, or if I feel unworthy, who's hanging on to it? It's not some other person, it's me. Even, for example, if I'm at a grocery store in a parking lot, someone's like, oh, nah, 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 and they have like a negative thing to say about me, I get to decide whether or not their opinion of me becomes my opinion of me. So when you're like, oh, well, everyone always doubts me and everyone always this and everyone always that. So I was like, yes, but you're the one giving their opinion more value than your opinion of yourself. So it's still a you game, right? Which is fun. So for me, who is a control person, I like control. This is what you get to control: your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, your actions. And so if you really want to be a good control freak, focus on that. That's where your power is. That's how you step into empowerment. All right. All right. So I'm going to invite you to like shake it off, that fear, that self-doubt, that lack of confidence. Good. That's a great start. Now, with your permission, I'd like to offer you a healing and clearing for your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and the space where you are right now. So let's create a beautiful cocoon to support you in healing today. Would that be okay? Okay. So now this works best when you say yes out loud. So just like yes out loud. And let's release any misqualified energies, entities, thoughts, forms for your mind, body, and spirit, allowing you to have a beautiful sacred space for you to be open and receptive to explore your desires and release your limitations. I invite you to say yes here. And notice the energy flowing through the top of your crown into your body, allowing yourself to release and relax and let go, noticing what it feels like to feel supported and surrounded as you explore your desires and as you release your self-imposed limitations. Take a nice long deep breath here. And I'm going to walk you through one of my favorite meditations, one of my many favorite meditations. The meditation I'll walk you through today is the Theta healing meditation to move you into the Theta brainwave. Now, the reason the Theta brainwave is so important is because that's the language of your subconscious. So some of you might feel a little loopy. It's okay. You'll get back to normal in a very short amount of time. You go into the Theta brainwave multiple times at night. So this is something your body naturally does. What I would suggest that you do, any ahas or woohoos or oh shits, tap them, write them down, share them out in the comments, especially because that allows you to bring it into an environment for observation. Because what happens is when you go into the Theta brainwave, it's very much like being in a dream state, because that's the frequency that your mind is in when it's dreaming. And so often you're like, oh wow, what a crazy dream, and then like you make it to the bathroom and you already forgot half of it. So sometimes when you're in a brainwave, that will happen as well. All right, so let's begin by taking a nice long deep breath. And again, this meditation is not a test in visualization. Simply pretend or imagine that you're sitting in a beautiful ball of light in the center of your chest. You can even put your hand on your chest to support you in bringing your awareness and your focus at your chest. Allowing your breath to draw you deeper and deeper and deeper into your heart space. With each and every inhalation, notice your body relaxing, your thoughts slowing, your emotions softening. And now, simply with your imagination, simply pretend that you're sitting in this beautiful ball of light. And this ball of light moves up and out through the top of your crown. Moving up in that beautiful ball of light. Imagine yourself sitting in that beautiful ball of light. You're surrounded, you're supported, you're safe. Moving up, 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 easily and effortlessly now through the ceiling, past the clouds. See that beautiful sun on the other side. Let's go get us some sunshine, ladies. Moving up, 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 up through the top of our solar system, moving up, 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 moving beyond the speed of light now, moving up, 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 up. Keep moving up easily and effortlessly now through the top of our galaxy, moving easily and effortlessly beyond the speed of light, moving up, 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 all the way up through the top of our universe, moving up, 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 all the way up now, beyond our universe through this brilliant white light. Moving up, 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 up through layers and layers and layers and layers of light. Continuing to move up, 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 all the way up through this beautiful golden light. Continuing to move easily and effortlessly beyond the speed of light, surrounded by this ball of light, safe, supported, surrounded. As you move through that beautiful golden light, let's call in your spirit team, your spiritual entourage. Let's welcome them in and notice what it feels like to be surrounded and supported by not just the people who love you here on the planet, but all of your guides, your ancestors, your spiritual mentors, allowing them to move up with you, up, up, up through this jelly-like substance, moving up, 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 all the way up beyond that jelly-like substance into this beautiful pink mist. This pink mist resonates at the pure frequency of unconditional love and compassion. As you continue to move up, 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 fully and completely safe and surrounded by your spirit team, give yourself permission to take a nice deep breath and bring that beautiful pink mist and feel what it feels like to bring that energy into every cell of your body, every atom of your being. It's just like cotton candy for the soul. It has this beautiful sweetness and softness to it. Notice what that feels like as it permeates your body, as it expands into your energy, as you continue to move up, up, up through that beautiful pink mist, continuing to move up, 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 all the way up until you move into that pearlescent energy, this beautiful twinkling white light which is the energy of pure source energy itself, moving all the way up into that foundational energy which creates all things. And no matter your personal belief structure, I invite you to call out to your higher power, to that higher perspective, to that divine energy. Call out to that universal wisdom. And notice what it feels like to be greeted by it. Notice that love, that companionship, that excitement, that acceptance. And with your permission, let's allow you to have the wisdom, feeling, and embodiment of what it is and what it feels like to connect to oneness source, to energy, to that beautiful divine frequency. And if you'd like that healing download, you can say yes now, allowing yourself to be open and receptive to feeling that energy greet you, love you, support you, honor you. Take a nice long deep breath. And here on the quantum field, things happen very quickly. Our minds might still be catching up, but our souls are timeless and infinite. Now, with your permission, let's gain clarity on your deepest desires and your most fulfilling passions. With your permission, would it be okay for you to have the highest wisdom, feeling, and embodiment to know clearly and effortlessly what is your big, delicious desire? What's your big dream? Without expectation, without analyzing, give yourself permission to sit back, relax, and allow that wisdom to rise into your awareness. Release the need to go looking and allow yourself to sit back and receive. Now, here's what I want you to explore. With your permission, let's support you in identifying the unique energetic signature of your desires and passion. What is the melody? What is the frequency? What's the vibe? What's the feeling? Again, release the desire to go looking and simply notice what that frequency of the desire feels like within you. Notice sensations, notice emotions, notice the frequency, colors, shapes, words, images. No matter how this intuitive information comes through for you, notice the vibe, notice the melody, notice the frequency. Now let's make it even yummier for you. With your permission, let's turn up the volume of that beautiful soul song that is desiring to play through you. You are the speaker. That soul desire is the music that your soul desires to play through you and express into the world around you. Let's go ahead and turn that volume up. Notice what it feels like to have that frequency amplified within every atom of your being, every cell of your body, being completely immersed and embodied within that frequency. Allow it to surround you and notice how you feel being surrounded by that frequency. Take a deep breath and allow it to saturate every cell. Now let's support you in integrating that wisdom that you're acquiring for yourself today. Share with me, if you were to use words to describe that frequency, colors, shapes, feelings, sensations, let me know in the comments. How does that desire feel? How is that feeling? If you were to describe it in words, and this will help you anchor it in and help you stay on track. So this is an important step to self-actualization. If you were to identify what is the frequency of those authentic desires and passions, freedom, yes, perfect. And each and every one of you will get a unique signature and a unique frequency. Guess what? Everyone's a right answer. Peace and warmth. Ooh, goddess. Soaking up the sun. Oh, that feels good. Joy, ease, freedom, fulfillment. Yes. What else? These are going to be your mile markers for when you're on track and moving in the right direction, and when you're off track and you're moving in the wrong direction. Freedom. Wonderful. What else? It does sound freeing. So go deeper. Okay, so here's a frequency of what other flavors. So think of this as this really beautiful dessert that you're savoring. What are the other ingredients and the other flavors within that? So exploring. I'm seeing contentment, love. Go deeper. Go deeper. We want you to tap into that deep level desire that excites you, that motivates you, that inspires you. Keep exploring. Peace and awe. There we go. Now you're tapping into it. We want you to experience that feeling on such a deep, meaningful level that it empowers you, that it supports you in moving forward. Wonderful. You guys are doing it. Confident, self-empowered, pure, joy, awareness, enchantment. Ooh, like that. It's different. A new word. It's like magical. I love it. Yes. Creative. Ooh, yes. Explore. Is there an element of playfulness in that frequency? When you're in that frequency, so I'm going to ask you I'm going to use some prompts here to go deeper. When you're in that energy, are you having fun? Are you joyful? For fun, when you're in this energy, how do you feel about your bank account? How do you feel about your relationships? How do you feel about your job or your business? How do you feel about fulfilling your purpose here on the planet? When you're in that frequency, what's it look like out there? How's it feel out there? Powerful. Awe, joy, adventurous. Yes. Love, abundant creation, personal growth, spiritual growth. Yes, yes, yes. Ecstasy. Ooh, I love it. I hear the song Venus, which means I'm co-creating amazing things for myself and others. Yes. Bubbly energy. Yes. And the bubbliness is the rising, right? Moving up, light, relaxed, adventurous, fulfilling, expansive. Exactly. Well done. Well done. All right. So now I want you to sit in that feeling for a moment. Okay. So hang on to it. You got it? You got the feeling? So pretend or imagine, because this is actually how your body's made up. You have an electromagnetic field. You all know that our planet Earth has an electromagnetic field that protects us from the solar rays. Well, your body has one too, right? So you're an energetic cocoon. And I want you to give yourself permission now. I want you to like allow your cocoon to be saturated with this yummy desire energy. Okay. Now I want you to notice what your subconscious does when I prompt you to do this. Now I want you to go out into the world. And when I say now, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I want you to just see what shows up. What's your knee-jerk fear reaction, your trauma response that shows up? You've got this beautiful energy, and what happens? Death. Yeah, failure. loss, fear of failure. So as long as you're living in your little personal world and you don't go and you live out there, you can have that. But as soon as you go out into the world and you actually start doing the thing and living the thing and being the thing, that's where your subconscious will go, that's a nice dream, but you see how quickly that jumped in? Yeah. So that's the role that your subconscious plays. Your subconscious will either support or sabotage your goal. So I love that you're sharing this, because this is what we're gonna, so feel free to share what yours are, because we're gonna do a healing download around these. Failure, fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of death. It's unsafe. It's unsafe to be seen and to be in standing in your power. That's super common one. Lose my voice, disappointment, criticism, depression, fear of losing more people that I love. What else? I'm going to give you guys a moment because we're going to do a healing for you today. These are all, fear of being deceived. Betrayal is also showing up in the frequency. So I'm going to tap into the group and see, because we have some people that are joining us in the replays. I'm going to tap into the energy as a group. Fear of failure is coming up. Fear of success. What if I have what I want and it's not what I expected it to be? What do I do then? Oh my gosh. What if I get the BMW and I don't like it? Trade it in. It's all right. I know, it's consciously we know this. So I want to make a point of interest here. So consciously, you know this. You know you're good. You know nothing bad's going to happen. You know, like people that aren't happy for you, they can get a life and get out, right? Like consciously, you're like, nah, whatever. If they're not going to let me be abundant and happy, maybe they shouldn't be in my life. Consciously, we know that. Now, the issue is that you know better, but then your subconscious is running 95% of the show. And it's governing your emotions and your actions and that critic in your head. It's also attracting to you either good stuff or not so good stuff. Yeah. And oftentimes I'm seeing like losing my power, burnout, overwhelm. When we live in abundance, we're afraid that we're going to be overwhelmed with all the good stuff, with the opportunities, with people knocking at the door wanting things from us, that we're going to have a hard time maintaining our boundaries. So before we actually clean up these obstacles, I'm going to share with you a little tool that we play with in Theta Healing. And so one of the ways that you can do that is little circle with your dominant hand and pretend that you have a $50 bill, inflation, right? I used to do this with $20 bill when I started this work. $50 bill, and it's on a little bit of a windy day, okay? And now you're gonna put your thumb in the hole, and then I want you to pull real nice and tight. Just see how you make out. So that 50 should still be in your hand. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna say out loud, my name is, and you're gonna say your real name out loud. You're gonna have your eyes closed, and this is gonna be your baseline. So my name is Anik. Good. I know who I am. Let's make sure you know who you are. You know who you are. And now we're gonna do a different one that's like a total BS. We don't have any Tonys in the room. So my name is Tony. Okay. So this should break. So when you're in your truth, you're strong. When you're full of it, you're weak. Okay, so that's how your muscle testing works. So just for fun, I'll get you to say out loud, I have the boundaries I need in order to contain the dream that I desire. Because your boundaries are the container that's going to hold that yummy thing. Do you have the boundaries you need? Right? So other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, other people's choices. So we have those external boundaries. And then we have the guilt, which is an internal boundary. Oh, I feel bad for, they can manifest beautiful things too. And you can also If you're abundant, you can also have the option of being more generous. Yay. Right? So now with your permission, that's the first thing we're going to support you with before we move you into that bigger space. Would you like to have the healthy, loving, and supportive boundaries that you require to be the supportive container of this big, beautiful dream that you have connected to today? Would that be okay? Say yes out loud. You're going to want to say yes for this one, because that's the packaging right there. Good. And notice what it feels like. So you might notice thoughts, emotions, your body. Notice how that energy integrates into your body. Okay, now going to ask you another question, and I want you to see what shows up without judgment. Okay. What are the relationships that you have in your life that are holding you back from living in this new experience? And we're not necessarily talking about other people here. It could be your relationship with yourself, or it could be the dynamic in an existing relationship that needs to change. Maybe putting everybody else first isn't working out for you. Maybe dimming your light and keeping quiet because you're afraid of offending other people isn't supporting you in achieving your goals. So what is the relationships that need to change? So these could be show up in how you talk to yourself or how you allow other people to talk to you, how you feel about yourself and how you allow other people to treat you, and how maybe they cherish you or they don't. And what are the relationships with the choices that you're making? Do you give yourself permission to make choices that support your growth, or are you constantly feeling obligated to put other people's needs before your own? And if you do you feel selfish when you put yourself first? Because here's the thing about your goals, you can't do it when you're pouring from an empty cup. So whether you like it or not, if you want to be a kind, loving, generous person, you should be an overflow. Your cup should be so full that it's overflowing. That's the balanced relationship with giving. Make sense? So go ahead and share with me, what is the number one relationship? Because there's probably a number one. What's the biggest relationship that needs to shift the dynamic? And it's not about breaking up with people here necessarily, right? It's about the dynamic. It's about what you've allowed in the exchange. Yeah, with yourself. I know, because who's the boss of you? Well, it should be you. Right? Self. All right. With your permission. You see what I'm getting at now? Yes. With your permission, would it be okay for us to show you what it is, what it feels like, and how to have a loving, supportive, and empowering relationship with yourself? And giving you permission as well to put yourself first without feeling guilty or selfish in any way, shape, or form. Would that be okay? Yes. So some big out loud yeses for these ones. And notice what it feels like. Notice what that energy and that frequency feels like as it moves into your body, of having a loving, supportive, balanced relationship with yourself. Notice what happens to your inner dialogue. Notice what happens to your feelings towards yourself. Notice what happens with you accepting and recognizing how awesome you are. Noticing what it feels like to allow yourself to radiate that beautiful light that you are here to harbor and bring into the world. Take a deep breath. Okay, last but not least, all of those niggly little fears. So first things first, can we show you the wisdom, feeling, and embodiment of knowing how to easily and effortlessly discern between a actual danger, i.e. lion, and a perceived fear? Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of death, fear of all the fears, right? Because is that a thing you should be living your life around? Because if you let fear win, which is, it's not an actual danger. It's just a fear. It's a thought. It's not a thing. It's a thought. A thing is a lion riding after you. That you should do something about, right? Oh my God, I'm afraid they're not going to like me is a thought. You're letting a thought govern your life and keep you stuck. Okay, with your permission, would it be okay for us to support you in releasing any and all fears and having proper discernment between a perceived subconscious fear versus an actual real world danger that you should respond to? Would that be okay? And allow you to make choices and have behaviors and take actions based on this higher knowing. Would that be okay? Okay. Yeah, that's important. So next time that niggly little voice comes in and go, well, do you really think, I want you to ask this question. So write this down. Write this down because I want you to challenge it and say, now, is that a fear or is that an actual danger? And you know if it's an actual danger because a fear is in the future. Well, what if I do this and then they? Okay, that's your cue, and your clue, that's a thought. But it's like, the house is on fire. Okay, well, that's a danger you should probably evacuate, right? So danger is present, fears are future. And if you're making decisions today based on fears versus instead of actual reality, what's going to happen is you're going to, when we make decisions from fear, what do we create? The very thing we're trying to avoid. Who's been there? You're like, oh my God, I was trying so hard to not let this thing happen. And then, yeah, because all your energy was focused on the thing you didn't want, all of it. And so you're a walking magnet for the very thing you don't want. Yeah, okay. Okay. So here's what I want you to keep in mind moving forward. What I want you to focus on. So here's your roadmap. And so if you don't know, I have the Conscious Creators Collective. Conscious Creators Collective in Facebook is a great group with a whole bunch of resources, and you can find some of these here. But they're also on my website. So in my 5-day abundance foundations, in there I share this with you. When you explore what these deep desires and passions are, you become clear on what I call your emotional priorities. So for me, walking my talk, I've got mine right here. I have them on Post-its all over my life. Car, wallet, phone. So my emotional priorities are love, strength, prosperity, connected, and freedom. These are mine. So what I want you to explore is that frequency that you tapped into. That's why I was like, do this homework with me. So the freedom, the peace, the joy, those are your words. And so in the Abundance Foundation, I walk you through this, but I'll give you the gist of it. And if you might have done it before, so it'll be a reminder for you. I want you to say yes to the things that bring love, that bring strength, that bring prosperity, that bring connection, and that bring freedom. Because if you're not saying yes to those things because you're afraid of ABC, do you think you're going to end up in those experiences? So when you say yes to joyful thoughts, when you say yes to joyful emotions, when you say yes to joyful experiences, what's the decisions that you're creating that are creating your life? Any guesses? What's your life going to look like? Joyful. But if you're saying yes to fearful thoughts and lack of self-confidence, and you're saying yes to, I don't think I can do this, where do you think you're going to end up? All of those 70,000 little choices, where does that bring you? Where you don't want to be. Continuing and perpetuating the story of those limiting thoughts. So that's your homework, is I want you to keep saying yes to those desires and keep saying no to those fears. And what I really invite you to do, because this eclipse energy is seeding your expansion for the next 6 months, is no matter what you decide to do, commit to doing your inner work. This fear that came up for you, or that limiting perspective, or that limiting view of what you're capable of, or a lack of confidence, for example, it has a story. It comes from somewhere. And when you do that inner work, which is not as hard as you think it is, so just let me reassure you, when you take the time to invest in yourself and do this inner work, then what happens is that your goals are so much easier to achieve because you're not fighting with yourself. Because that's what's happening right now. You're like, I wanted this, but I don't think I can. This tug of war is not fun. And you are in a much better position to achieve your goals when you're on board with yourself. So taking time to invest in yourself and do the deep inner work, if you do anything over the next couple of months, that's what I recommend that you do, no matter what level of commitment or path of growth that you choose. Do something that moves you forward in any way. So of course, I'm going to share with you my suggestion, which is what I have on offer. And I pick these because they resonate with me. And I've seen actually one of my beautiful clients and students in our group today share that she sold her house that she was afraid was not going to sell for a month, and she got a free trip somewhere. And that's just since I saw her at the end of September, and we did some deep work on that. So super awesome. That's just today's magic that I got to witness. So coming up November 9th, I have the Theta Healing Seminars. You can show up for the basic and the advanced class. It's a powerful 5-day transformational program that you will not leave the same person. If I can guarantee one thing, is who you are when you walk in is not who you are when you walk out. And it's the best thing ever. Actually, some of you guys here were in my last program and or those before. So if that calls to you, Julie, thanks for the heart, Julie. That program, I'm certified to teach many different modalities. I teach Theta healing because it's fast, it's quick, and it gets right into the good stuff. So if you're called to that, I have some special pricing that we just rolled out. I'm collaborating with a fellow teacher. So you're actually gonna get 2 teachers for the price of 1 for this upcoming Theta Healing Foundations class that's starting on November 9th. It's a dear colleague of mine, Sarah, and her and I are co-teaching this class. So that's gonna be super fun. And if you've been into my class, one of the things that I do guarantee is that we have fun, we laugh, and sometimes we have little dance parties. So it's not your grandmother's meditation class. We have some special pricing for our Canadian clients, and you get 3 months of mentorship with me when you sign up for the bundle. You save like $600. We just redid all of our pricing. Our pricing is now in Canadian dollars for this class in November. And you get a reading with Sarah if you sign up for the seminar series. So if that speaks to you, it'll be, I'm going to send it off to you guys in the link, and you can check it out, and it'll also be in the email replay. So if it calls to you, reach out. If you're looking for something different, I'm your person, so reach out to me, and I'm happy to tap into what you've got going on and seeing what is the best path to support you in moving forward in regards to what your current level of commitment as well as your current experiences. So we all have different journeys. I'm happy to tap in, talk to your higher self and be like, hey, have you ever considered this? Sometimes that's like, read this book. And sometimes it's like, hey, let's support you in creating a payment plan so that you can make this happen for yourself. So let me grab the link here for you. And if that speaks to you, you are welcome to join us. It's going to be awesome. Oh, thanks, Diane. Diane shares, it's so worth it. Hey, Diane. How much better can life get, eh? Theta healing has completely changed my life. I used to I used to have so many problems before. And now I have so many solutions. So I want that for you too. So if that calls to you, I just popped in the link at the bottom of the chat box. I invite you, if you have any questions, if you need a payment plan, if you want to have a chat to see if it's the right fit for you. It's coming up November 9th. Your subconscious is going to be like, oh no, da da da, it's so fast. It's like, yeah, would you want to wait any longer to get your dreams, or would you like them now? So perfect timing. It's always the right time to say yes to living a bigger life. That's my opinion. And also, my subconscious is super sneaky like yours. It's always got all the best reasons in the world to not change and to not do the thing. But that's what's really beautiful, is when you start to open up that communication bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, you can really get aware of how your subconscious likes to be sneaky and try to sabotage you. And then when you have that level of awareness, you dissolve the power that it has over you. So you actually have access to more of that 95% because you're consciously aware of what your subconscious is doing. So honestly, if you're going to do anything this year, do your inner work and bridge that gap between your conscious and your subconscious mind, because that's where the good stuff happens.